Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SB Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named OceaSand titled Wash Away. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen featuring Jesse O'Brien. Apparently this track was written by Jay Williams, as well as T. Pescud. If I'm not mispronouncing that horrifically, apparently they're also a fellow New Zealanders, fellow Kiwiaks. So that's kind of cool. Just get the art up on the screen here, and we're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. Got some lyrics here as well, so that's cool. Thank you for that. Very use of Foley with the wind and stuff like that.
Gliding along the coast, our life's so easy to ignore of giant waves, troubles we put aside. And tomorrow now not moving from today. Turning the wheel for a direction new, we just keep heading to our strive, not able to fling behind us self-fear of being wasted away.
Comfortable with the theme at this point.
Wash away the love of you.
Interesting use of panning as well as those 16th hi-hats.
Feeling of blue. It's me for me. Relief in my side. Raising my hand. Waving goodbye.
Those vocal harmonies are really nice as well. They're nice and warm. And a return to the Foley, I suppose, of being at the beach as a, as per the album art or the single art.
Water cascades and road steers my life away from you. Farewell and eyes I hear for the sun somewhere new. Follow
Interesting.
my wheel drifting out from our old life, leaving us in those days gone by, running from the words I do. Wash away the love of you. Wash away the feeling of blue.
Interesting tremolo vibrato on those guitar lines in the background.
Relief in my side. Raising my head. Waving goodbye.
Great position for a solo section here. just a great return to it.
Wash away the feeling of blue. It's me for me, relief in my side, raising my head, waving goodbye.
There's a lot of life in the recording itself, you know. It's a very peaceful track. No, that was really well handled. Really well handled. We'll go back to this one. Yeah, there we go. Cool, cool. I'm going to have a think about this one for a moment. I really did enjoy it, but we're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named OceaSand featuring Jesse O'Brien, titled Wash Away. Now, what do I think this track is about? I think it's someone commenting on how, you know, people often try and ignore the problems that they have, even if it's to their detriment. They'll just continue moving further and further towards an undesirable outcome because it is too difficult to face those things head on. And eventually it's just a case of sort of either being washed away by it or wanting to wash it away yourself. You know, it's trying to sort of like take that away from you. Almost like we are kind of raising our hand to it. We're saying goodbye to it simply because we just don't know what to do with that problem anymore. It's just gotten too big and we don't know how to fix it. And so we just going away with the tides. That's my interpretation of it. I think it's a story that a lot of people will be able to relate to. There's a bit of wordplay and poetry in there, and I appreciate that artistry there. I think that the vocals are well handled. We've got a very personable, chill, introspective. It's a friendly tone. It's someone who's gently trying to tell you their story from their perspective. We choose really faithful melodies that are respectful to the existing harmonies and progressions within the piece there. They never overcolor or overcomplicate the arrangement. When there are harmonies, they're usually major or minor triads there or intervals that don't overcomplicate things there. We're simply trying to be sort of more of a folkish storyteller and amongst the different guitar parts, the drums, bass, and occasional organs, I would assume, that are in there as well. We show solid vocal technique. We're very comfortable within our range. And yeah, I think that the expression makes sense for it. It's a very peaceful time where we're sitting on the beach thinking these things through, and I enjoyed listening to it. The track hit 6 minutes 11 with an understanding of what the story is about, I think, and the vocals taken care of, is a track that is filled with equal parts like the foley of the wind and stuff kind of washing over the situation and the tides. You have a guitar arpeggio, strummed components there, really pretty lead guitarists with the softest of like kind of drive, whatever, like they're fairly clean guitar parts there, intermingled with hammer-on pull-off techniques, bends, etc., slides. It's an adept, intricate solo in that end section after the various verses and choruses that does well to color the track an alternative way to what the vocalist is doing, and I feel like it's a great sort of, especially for a 6 minute 11 track, which is quite long. It's way outside the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot I usually have for tracks there. They do layer it well. There are moments of respite and peace where you just, again, you don't have the vocals, you just have the sound of the wind and stuff, and it allows you to take peace and have a bit of comfort until the story continues again and you get more context. I should note that the guitar solo was very well played. I think that the scale and modal choices there were really well thought out and pragmatic. And I don't think we overcomplicated that either. The guitar solo was basically one of the more complicated parts of the arrangement. There were lots of other subleads from the guitars kind of warbling in and out there with a bit of oscillation going on there that made it seem to, again, it made it seem like it was, as I mentioned, a sub layer, but also it was trying to fill in niches that maybe the vocalist couldn't and wanted to have a whole kind of complete track. There was lots of call and responses between the vocals and then the guitar parts there, with relatively minimalist lead lines there, sort of filling things in. The drums were a staple of for most of the track, and that 1 and 2 and the 8th note groove was so strong with this. Like we had, so it was occasional fills and stuff, and we had like a swingish kind of triplet thing going into our last solo section, but typically it was reliable. We were pocketing, and that's all the track needed in order to work. It's just that consistency with rhythm, no matter what we were discussing with the guitar or the vocals, whatever direction we may take, that almost like the drums is the time consistently moving forward without abatement. The bass line in the end was doing some really fun stuff with the scale shapes and modes. It was humble like the drums. It wasn't trying to overstay its welcome or overcompensate. But what it did do well was explore a bit when it had space, and that was really intelligent. And again, I'm wondering if we did have like a Hammond organ or something like that reinforcing some of those guitar lead lines. I could be wrong, though. I know there's guitar effects which do a similar function. I'm just wondering if that is an additional bit of coloration we had in there. Either way, I think when you combine those things and you consider the structure of it, it's a track where it's relatively peaceful again with the major amount of triads. Even if there were extensions, they weren't poking their nose out. They weren't trying to overcomplicate it. It's a song where it's trying to be friendly and it's trying to sort of sit you down beside it, and it's gentle with the textures. There's no harsh edges. It's very pleasant to listen to, but because of the variety of different subleads and then the leads from the guitars, as well as the groove of the drums and stuff, and just how pleasant again it is to listen to the singer, you sit there throughout and it's never, you never feel disinterested. You want to hear more, but you also understand that there's a natural endpoint, and you're kind of sad to see it go. I just think it was also, as a closing comment, nice that we had the wind at the end, almost like that is the last thing we have after the story, that you've kind of flown on by or blown on by, and that's kind of the end of it. I thought that was really intelligent. But the studio recording, mixing, and mastering was fantastic. It was really well handled. I mean, I think that the drums in particular, how the crashes went from one side to another at some point was really dope. I liked the different guitar lines and how they were layered within the frequency spectrum and stereo field, moving around the place, but also nicely niched in here. Drums and bass had a home. Vocals had a consistent presence regardless of whether they were the mains or the harmonies. There was dynamic range to it. Again, the use of Foley was fantastic, and getting that to suit the guitar tones and everything else that was happening was great as well. The vocals didn't need assistance to sound great. Like the singer could clearly sing, but we also had a bit of reverb and stuff which kind of added sort of a misty feel to it, which was kind of pretty in. It was nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting was handled. Effectively, this is my review of this track from an act named OceaSand, titled Wash Away, featuring Jesse O'Brien, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and Spotify page, and stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.